Hello, block game fans. Not the other block game. This one. This is the second Barony class guide in the new class guide series. Today we'll be going over the all-powerful warrior. Where the barbarian was focused on quick damage and high speed to outpace your foes, the warrior takes a much slower approach, opting to instead be an immovable fortress, poking at their foes while protecting themselves with a shield. The warrior is, to me, the de facto Barony class, as it's easier for a new player to pick up and understand, but in the hands of a veteran can become nigh invincible. The warrior's starting equipment is much more focused on protection, at least compared to the barbarian's overall nakedness. A leather helm, iron breastpiece, leather boots, and bronze shield will all make you a decent bit slower, but will offer great protection, perfect for a new player making plentiful mistakes. Your starting weapon is an iron spear, allowing for decent damage right from the start. You also get a piece of bread and a fish for food. Skill levels are distributed very nicely here, perhaps a bit too nicely. 40 in leadership, allowing recruited NPCs to receive more commands, 50 polearms, 25 swords, 10 unarmed, 25 blocking, and 25 ranged. The class is built to be a spear user, but gives you the wiggle room to use other weapons as well, if that is necessary, or just desired. Taking everything into account, the warrior is way stronger than you'd think, especially compared to some of the other base game classes. It does just about everything outside of stealth, magic, and alchemy, and does it really well. Barony old heads remember when the starting kit for the warrior also included an iron sword and a bow. They were really just giving this guy everything to have a good start. Now, you just start with your spear, but you still have a bunch of levels in sword and ranged, so it's more a matter of finding those weapons, and then you can use them effectively. The warrior is a natural leader, both in single-player and multiplayer environments. In single-player, the 40 leadership you start with can be used to start an armed militia, though you do have to deal with the general stupidity of Barony's NPCs. However, if you can tank for them and let them get the kill, and maybe heal them every now and then, they can become somewhat useful. It does help when you summon the Zap Brigade, though. They are perfect cannon fodder. In multiplayer, you are the tank of the group, unless there's the monk or cleric as well, so you will be in the front tanking for any squishy magic users, while the stealth experts can then run behind whatever you're fighting and get in some backstabs. You also will then have 3 artifact weapons to choose from, the sword, the spear, and the bow, so everyone can get something. For instance, if Arthur or Shelob spawn and you get Dernwyn, you can give Gungnir to the healer or wizard, since they both use polearms as their main melee skill. If you get a bow, you can use that as a secondary weapon to deal with most of the more annoying ranged enemies, like fire staff goblins or imps, or even the devil. Or, if you'd like to, you can become a fully ranged warrior, since you'll be doing good damage with a bow from your starting 25 ranged. It's a very nice snowball effect to becoming a heavily armored sentinel. Not really related to the guide, but I just thought I'd put it here. The run I recorded for the background footage gave me the most insane luck I think I've ever had in a single player game. I got every artifact weapon, even Dernwyn and Parashu, which are the only ones not guaranteed, plus like stupid powerful spell books like Levitate just came out of nowhere. For weapons and armor, I actually think the warrior is the one class in the game that is fully designed to get every artifact armor piece, plus a few weapons. All the artifact armor pieces are the heaviest of their type, and each gives a bonus effect. The warrior is the one class, outside of monk, that is meant to wear a full set of heavy armor. I'm getting a sense of main character syndrome here. Of course, you don't have to go that route, but I mean, come on, it just looks cool regardless of efficacy. I think no matter what, you should try to get Gungnir. Just make sure you're strong enough to kill the Minotaur, but if it spawns, use Dernwyn instead. Gungnir may give a chance for armor pierce, but Dernwyn can do bleed, fire, and smite all along with its base damage. In the hands of a warrior, that sword is a boss killer through and through, whereas Gungnir is a more generalist weapon, pretty good against everything, but Dernwyn is a bit more of a special use case. A lot of the enemies in the endgame are undead or demonic anyway, and I'm pretty sure cockatrices are weak to sword damage, so I think the choice is pretty clear. If you decide to use a bow, I would recommend getting Kirsa Lakatos, but it can be a bit of a challenge since you have to do the early underworld to get it at a reasonable time. I would do the Gnomish Mines as a prerequisite, mainly for the lightning staffs, but also the Sphinx's Cask. If you can get some lightning staffs, or really any magic damage, Artemisia isn't too bad, especially if you get lucky like me and have your NPCs get her down to a sliver of health. In regards to the bow, swift ammo is really good for it, since if the bow fires off a different type of arrow, it will still have the properties of a swift arrow, so you could get a piercing arrow that fires off way faster than normal. If you don't feel like getting all the artifact armor, then that's okay. Warrior is a very easy class to dress up. It pretty much comes down to whatever gives the most AC and doesn't slow you to a snail's pace. Steel or crystal armor is naturally what will come of this, but your headpiece can have a bit more variety. The bear hood and wolf hood can be good, just like with a barbarian, but a crowned helmet, crown, or laurel can also help if you're going for a more leadership-centered playthrough. A spooky mask or rose can be good for making ghouls, shadows, incubi, and succubi non-hostile, and sunglasses can help with your god-awful perception. As for miscellaneous item recommendations, a skeleton key is once again a good one to get, but you may end up dabbling a bit into magic since Warrior doesn't have completely abysmal intelligence growth, so the open spell may be an option. As I said, a bow can be a good secondary weapon, but this also extends to crossbows, and if you're really feeling it, an arbalest. A mouth knife can be good if you want the retaliation damage, and any visor can be good for raising your weapon skills higher to ease the transition from one weapon type to another. Now, race synergies. Warrior is kind of an oddball in the way that every race works for it. I don't think there's a single race that works against the Warrior's playstyle. Maybe the Automaton, since you'll need to use the salvage spell to turn items into scrap for food, and Warrior doesn't do good with magic, but there are food sources other than scrap. Insectoid gives some more movement utility, Goatman gives the drunk buff, Skeleton gets the revive, Goblin gives weapon durability and variety, Vampire gives levitate, Incubus gives chadliness, and Succubus lets you fill your diversity quota in your army. Everyone gives something, with none really bringing any issues. In short, poke goblins to death, shoot people you don't like, and protect your friends and family. That's it for the Warrior Guide. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next guide. Have a good one.